Hi everyone, welcome back to the Mass Retirees Weekly Update. Today's Friday, July 21st. I'm Sean Duhamel. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining with us this week. Now I have two main topics to focus on, one being an update for all of you on the cost of living adjustment, and then secondly, sort of a preview of an upcoming hearing this coming Tuesday by the Joint Committee on Public Service that involves 6 different Mass Retirees bills we will be testifying on Tuesday afternoon. And I want to provide an overview of those pieces of legislation for those of you who are interested in those bills, to also give you the opportunity to reach out to either the Public Service Committee or your local legislators in support of those particular bills. But before I get to that, let me first provide an update on the COLA. Now, the COLA has been and will continue to be a topic that we're going to return to quite frequently. It is one of the most important pieces of policy or legislation that we work on year in and year out. You know from our recent reports in the newsletter and in these weekly updates and from our meetings that we're putting a lot of emphasis on trying to improve the COLA base at both the state level as well as the local level. In addition to the base, we have also been putting forth a full court press, if you will, first of all to make sure that we maximized the additional 2% COLA that was paid in the previous fiscal year, which was FY23. We are now into FY24. But let me provide an update for you of just some recent news that we have relative to a couple of additional retirement systems that have fully adopted that additional 2% COLA for FY23. Now those two systems, and we just got word of this over the last couple of days, but the town of Danvers approved the additional 2%, and Worcester County has officially approved the additional 2%. Now, both of these systems worked hard to get things over the finish line, Worcester County in particular, just because of the sheer number of municipalities that make up the Worcester County retirement system. It was a huge undertaking. We're very appreciative of the work that went into this, and we're appreciative of those local boards of selectmen that took the initiative to support their local retirees, did right by local retirees, and joined the majority of the counties across Massachusetts in approving the additional COLA. Now, for those of you who are state and teacher retirees, you received the additional 2% COLA benefit a year ago. The benefit was approved as part of the FY23 state budget by the legislature. It was paid to you last August as part of the regular COLA payment. If you remember, the COLA for state and teacher retirees for FY23 was a flat 5% on a $13,000 base. So when we talk about the additional COLA at the local level, there was a provision in that law that required local approval. And that's the same process pretty much for any retirement benefit. Any new benefit has to receive local approval. And in this case, local approval had to come from both the retirement board at the local level as well as the local municipal government. So it was a 2-step process and pretty involved, particularly for the county systems. So across all 104 systems, including the state and teachers, 80 systems have paid a 5% COLA for FY23. That COLA payment was applied to whatever local COLA base may exist. And the COLA base across the state ranged from $12,000 at the low level all the way up to, for FY24, a $20,000 base in Bristol County as of today is the highest base available across all the Massachusetts retirement systems. So that's the situation with the additional 2% COLA. Now, if you don't know what retirement system you are a member of, go back to the message that we put out 2 weeks ago. To which retirement system do I belong? Was it the title? The goal of that message was to provide some information for those members who are unclear as to which retirement system you belong to. But if you are a retired teacher, you are a member of the teacher's retirement system. The town that you may have worked in or the city that you may have worked in has nothing to do with your pension benefit. They have nothing to do with your COLA. The pension and the COLA and everything to do with your retirement allowance comes from the teacher's retirement system. The only exception to that is the city of Boston, whose teachers belong to the Boston Retirement Board, but all other teachers across Massachusetts belong to the state or the Massachusetts Teachers Retirement System. So if you have other questions about this, again, refer back to the video in the email message from me from 2 weeks ago. We get into the details of it. We will also republish that article in our September newsletter, which we're going to press in a little bit over a week. That will be published there as well, because I know there's a lot of interest in this topic. Now, in terms of the hearing next week, the Joint Committee on Public Service, which is chaired by State Representative Ken Gordon from the town of Bedford, along with State Senator Mike Brady from the city of Brockton, the committee will be holding a public hearing on Tuesday afternoon at 1 o'clock. The hearing is broadcast on the internet, so those of you who are interested in watching, within today's email message from us will contain a link that you can click on that will bring you to the Public Service Committee website, and there will be a link to watch the hearing as it takes place next Tuesday. Now, as I said earlier, we have 6 different bills up for the public hearing on Tuesday afternoon. Those 6 bills cover 5 different topics. The bills related to the veterans bonus have been filed in both the House and the Senate. So there are two bills relative to the veterans bonus, but they're identical. It's the same bill filed in both chambers. Now, in terms of the veterans bonus, this is the benefit that's automatically included within the retirement benefit for anyone who is a veteran who left the military and has a DD-214. You are honorably discharged, is what I was trying to get at, and you have a DD-214, you are a veteran, you automatically receive in your pension benefit today the veterans bonus. This has been in place since 1957. This is not a new benefit. This is nothing that you need to apply for. It's also not something that will show up on your annual statement or any information that you're getting from the retirement board. It's not broken out as a separate distinguished benefit. It's automatically included within your basic retirement allowance. The reason why I point this out is every time we talk about the veterans bonus, inevitably we'll get phone calls from members wondering how they apply for this or wondering if they're getting it, and you are already getting it. What we are trying to do is increase what you are already getting. When the benefit was created back in 1957, it created a maximum veterans bonus of $300. That $300 has never been increased since 1957, and is well overdue to be increased now. So our proposal is to increase the maximum veterans bonus from the current $300 a year up to $1,000 a year, and that bill is being heard on Tuesday afternoon. Now, in addition, we also have 4 other topics in addition to the veterans bonus. One is legislation creating an estimated retirement benefit for those new retirees when the retirement system, if they run into a problem collecting the data and the information they need to calculate the benefit. Right now, in some cases, we have some retirees waiting 3, 4, even 5 months, in some cases even a little bit longer than that, to receive their first pension payment. It goes without saying that no one should have to wait any more than, say, 60 days to get a pension benefit under most circumstances. And Frank Valeri, our association president, who's a member of the State Retirement Board, he has been working very closely with his fellow board members, with State Treasurer Deb Goldberg, and the staff of the State Retirement System to improve their processes and to try to ensure that that new retirees are being paid in a timely fashion. This legislation that we have filed, and I believe that there are similar bills from some of the public employee unions, would help to facilitate that expedited process to make sure that at the very least, new retirees are receiving an estimated benefit until their full benefit and final benefit can be calculated. In addition, the other legislation that we have filed that's up for a hearing is legislation that would increase the minimum pension for surviving spouses of active employees who die while they are still active employees prior to retirement. That minimum benefit right now is $6,000 a year. It's been at that level now for a number of years. This legislation would increase the benefit to a maximum of $9,000 in terms of a minimum pension. In addition, we have also filed legislation once again to recalculate the pension benefit of option B and C retirees who retired prior to July 1st of 2004. And because they retired prior to July of 2004, their option C or option B benefit was miscalculated. We believe that that occurred because of outdated mortality tables. Those mortality tables were updated as of July 1st of 2004, so this is an issue of fairness. It's been something that we have been working on for quite a while now, and we're hopeful that we're finally able to provide some relief to those retirees who chose the spousal option to leave a pension to their spouse, did the right thing by their spouse, and unbeknownst to them, because of the outdated mortality tables, you could argue that their pension was not correctly calculated. So again, this would fix that problem. And finally, we have another surviving spouse bill that would allow surviving spouses who are receiving a spousal retirement benefit the ability to vote in retirement board elections. Now, there are 2 elected members for each of the 104 retirement systems. This legislation would grant the right to vote to surviving spouses. It would not allow a surviving spouse to run for the retirement board elected member seat, but it would simply allow them the right to vote in that local election or the state and teacher board elections, which we believe is the right thing to do. They're receiving a benefit just like everybody else, and they should have some input into whom is representing them on the board. So those are the 5 different issues that are up for public hearing on Tuesday afternoon. I will be joined by Nancy McGovern and Tom Bonarigo, who spearhead our legislative team. The 3 of us will be testifying at the hearing as a panel, each of us sort of divvying up different bills to focus on. And again, if you would like to watch the hearing, you can find that information on Mass Legislature's website. It will be contained, the link will be contained in today's email address or today's email message to all of our members. Now, lastly, next week, our hope is to provide an update for all of you of the current standing of our pension assets across the state in terms of what the investment returns have been for the first 6 months of 2023. We had hoped that those reports would have been available this week. We believe that they're now coming out next week, which is the last week of July. And from what we understand at this point, I think it's going to be good news. I think the systems have been relatively successful for the first part of 2023, and we want to provide you with that information because things like the COLA or any other benefit increases really depend on the success of our systems, and we depend on the retirement systems sharing that success with retirees in terms of additional COLA benefits and so forth. So with that, I'm going to log off for today. I hope you're having a great summer and enjoying this very summer-like weather. I know it's been very warm here in Boston and extremely hot across the country. If you are living in some of the southern parts of the country, please be careful. I know that the heat has been at a pretty dangerous level in many locations. So stay hydrated, stay safe, but try to enjoy the summer. Be well, everybody. Bye-bye.